I've said it in most, if not all of my videos, that I value transparency very, very much, and I continuously aim to be as transparent as I possibly can in this medium. With that being said, let's start today's video with a definition. Maternal bond, the relationship between a mother and her child. While typically associated with pregnancy and childbirth, a maternal bond may also develop in cases where the child isn't related, such as adoption. A bond that grows stronger by the day. I was fortunate enough to experience said bond with this incredible woman for the first 24 years of my life. Something I will never take for granted, as I was subjected to unconditional love, comfort, and support. Love, comfort, and support that continues to exist in her angel form and will last the entirety of my life. All of the videos for this year have been planned out since December of last year. One day I sat down and gathered all the music and media that generally impressed me and had a special place in my heart. Among those topics was an album. An album that intimately chronicles the journey of a kid with adolescent trauma and stories that shaped a kid into a man quicker than normal. Adolescent trauma that in turn gave him content for many of his works in his young budding career as an artist, but none more vulnerable than his latest contribution, Almeth's Son by Suave.
Run that kick though, we on blitz mode, get your hit bro, we been kick though, all summer kick though, boy got get though, run that kick though, yeah.
Suave, born and raised in Atlanta, began crafting the record Almeth's Son 3 years ago with the intention of paying homage to his mother and writing a love letter to the city that grew him up. He's gone on record saying that the pressure of creating music purely for the city of Atlanta is weight that he shedded after making this record, and that way will no longer define his music going forward. With that said, it's clear where the Atlanta influences make their way into his sound, but this album brilliantly presents a style and lane of his own all throughout, with songs like Faces, Forever, and Friends to name a few. With brilliant production and execution performance-wise comes another quality that can't be easily overlooked, and storytelling. Suave presents his most vulnerable lyrics to date, detailing the trials and tribulations of his child and young adulthood, trials and tribulations that includes him finding out he was adopted, a troubled relationship or lack thereof it with his dad, the ups and downs of his relationship with his mom that no matter the downs will always end with undying love, and personal tales of Suave battling between being a regular kid or the hard kid living a life in the streets. He packs all of those themes and stories into the 15-track album, and to give a taste of the storytelling present on this record, we're going to break down these 4 songs: Grammys, Grown Man, Money Can't Ease Your Pain, and 4+5.
So I surround myself with smart niggas that know better. So nah, we don't need lectures, we off all the peer pressure. I might die tomorrow, my mind's nowhere near next semester. My feet wetter, I'm in the streets so I see better. Knowing I can make it one day so mom can sleep better.
It should be noted that Almeth's Son is one of the most cohesive listening experiences I've had in quite some time. Starting off with an intro that features the incredible James Blake harmonizing over a loving prayer from none other than Suave's mother. A prayer that pleads God to cover and protect him as she's not aware of everything going on in his life.
Cover his friends, God. I don't know everything that Dre's doing.
A prayer that swiftly transitions into Go Shorty, a brilliant peek into the content that lasts the entire record. Which then goes into Billy, a song that peeks into the street life Suave was starting to be exposed to as a teen growing up in Atlanta. Two songs that pieced together feel like a prelude into the story he was preparing to tell with full disclosure on this song. Grammys.
Growing up, my mama want my daddy. Fuck the bills, we gon' stay with granny. I'm from where the kids ain't selling candy. Boy, I sold a record, sold a Grammy. All my dogs skinny, dicky, khaki. Skinny pants, nigga, but they baggy. None my niggas ever met they daddy. All my niggas head of the family. 4 niggas deep in the Camry. We gon' hit a lick, understand me. Yo, shit gon' get kicked, understand me. Yo, bitch gon' get hit, understand me. God made me hit a lick, nigga. God made me hit a lick, nigga. God made me hit a lick, nigga. God made me hit a lick, nigga.
In what is easily my favorite chorus on this record, he wastes zero time in telling a story of his dad not being in the picture, making his mother step up in both roles. With the absence of his dad in his life, Suave in more ways than one felt as if he had to step up and be a man himself, a mentality that directly led him into feeling the only way to get out of a life of struggle was to get a gram off and kick doors in.
Lord, set me free, hear me from the knees. Lord, hear me speak, free me from the streets. Form 7 feet, I can guarantee straight to DVD. Ain't no movie scene, stop at 17, no we ain't got degrees, but we got the keys, and known for expertise.
With an album full of various reoccurring themes, as a listener, the one that feels the most important is Suave praying for a way out. He has constantly made things work with what he has, a quality that has gotten him very far in life. A quality and strength that feels like a direct result of his faith in not only himself and his rapping abilities, but his faith in God as well. Like I stated in the intro, of the many qualities present on this album, storytelling takes priority, but it peaks on this track as Suave takes us on a journey from age 13 to 25.
Yeah, 13, first time seen this strap. 14, first time in the trap. 15, I was sleeping in hospitals, thought my mama would die in a nap. 16, I was selling that gas. I never saw water, I'm back with the tap. Did way before Rona, but I had a mask. First time kicking doors, so I creep through the back. 17, sent to live with my dad. Mama want me to have that experience. I can't make this shit up, he was gone in 2 days, and the rest of the time I ain't hear from him. 18, I was back in Atlanta. 19, I was hotter than Tampa. 20 when I met Metro. We ain't speaking no while, but I love him like we share grandma. 21, I was up. 22, I was up. 23, thought this shit was over with. I couldn't even give me no deal, I would fuck. 24, I was down on my luck. Still pushing through it, nigga, what's up? Now I'm 25, making them bucks. Imagine if I would've gave this shit up.
The vulnerability and honesty present on verse 2 is what makes this one of the more important songs on the entire record. Suave provides a detailed summary of his life from age 13 to 25, a summary that really shows how many adult themes existed in his life at an age that is far too young to fully process what he was seeing and or doing. From seeing guns and drugs for the first time, to being worried about his mother's health, to then selling those drugs and for the first time kicking in doors and robbing. All of that being from age 13 to 16 is almost unfathomable. Being the stress all of those isolated incidents could cause is too much for any person at any age, let alone an early teen. It was at age 17 he was sent to be with his dad, and that subsequently made things more sour between the two, due to him not showing up for him in the slightest bit. An event that, relative to the years coming up, feels like a major turning point in his life. And it was, as Suave began to really solidify himself as a rapper, hard work that caught the eye of Atlanta producer and legend Metro Boomin. And Metro went as far to make Suave his first signee at Boominati Worldwide Records. A relationship that, according to his lyrics here, isn't as active, but the love remains strong as Metro gave Suave an incredible opportunity. And Suave, being as talented and as hungry as he is, wasn't going to take that moment for granted. Going on to release some of his best music on album Pure Infinity and mixtape before the album. A lot of momentum and energy that fell flat in his eyes as he was stagnant in his search for another record deal. But he remained strong and persistent in his mission and landed back on his feet with a deal with Def Jam and an incredible album to boot. Suave's music career having its ups and downs and him having to show grace and perseverance beyond his years is almost identical to his personal life. A kid seeing and going through a number of things that most kids couldn't even imagine. A kid that in the face of circumstance quickly became a grown man.
God made me hit a lick, nigga. God made me hit a lick, nigga. Yeah, man of the house before I put down my sippy cup. And I raised my mama, nigga. Wasn't no time for slipping up. Kids laughing at me, we was broke, I wasn't drippy much. Angry ass black boy, get so mad I stick him up. No matter how hard shit get, I never reach out to my pops. Fuck that, I never hit him up. And when I get older, I'ma have the gang hit him up. I'm a grown man, I don't need your pity much.
Grown Man first listen sounded like Suave airing out grievances he's never really been allowed to air out. Grievances that include being the man of the house at an age that shouldn't call for it. But as expressed in the songs before, he has a perseverance beyond his years, allowing him to prosper in those tough times more or less by himself with no assistance from his non-existent dad. Angry, frustrated, and fed up with the lifestyle he's been presented, but set with a good head on his shoulders, prepared to do whatever for his mom. With the first verse explaining how he had to step up and be a grown man as a preteen, the second verse details how he had to be a grown man at the age of 19, moving into adulthood and all of its challenges.
19, had to move out, I had no place to go, but I can't have moms going through my shit. Grab my studio equipment and my clothes, then I dipped. I was at shorty spot, year and change where I lived. Whole time I was feeling like a little ass kid. She taking care of a nigga, making sure a nigga eating every day. Get to work, get established. I couldn't pay for shit when we went out, cause I ain't had shit. Feeling like Jody, nigga, Aunt was like Sweet Pea. We was out doing anything but peace treaty. Still trying to feel like I'm the man in a relationship, but truth be told, looking back, she ain't need me. Little ass boy trying to sell his mom perks off, and I caused my girl hell. I deserve to be murked off. Treating everybody in my life like if they didn't have me, they would be worst off. But I'm the real jerk off, and I can tell my truth these days, nigga.
Once more, the blatant honesty makes an appearance. Here, Suave gets honest about having to move on from his home situation with his mom and move in with his girl at the time. A situation where he was trying to get back on his feet, but undoubtedly felt helpless during that situation, being he couldn't provide financially and possibly in many other ways. It's safe to assume that, being at the end of this verse, he presents a fairly self-deprecating tone in regards to him causing hell for his girl and creating a toxic connection with anyone in his life by making them feel as if he wasn't a part of it, they'd be worse off. These assessments of his character at age 19 come with 20/20 hindsight, of course, and Suave, being his harshest critic and also his biggest fan, knows he can be better than this version of himself. Truths he's able to dive into as he's become a more mature grown-up, as opposed to a kid playing grown-up.
I'm a grown man, I'm a grown.
Walking around with my head long, running for my name on a headstone. Lord, wrap your arms around me, I can feel the evils drowning me.
As the sudden switch happens, Suave goes deeper into this portion of his life with another prolific and vulnerable chorus, this time admitting to fears of death with the lifestyle he was choosing to live at the time, and in return doubling down on his faith in God to continue to protect.
How many times can the Lord forgive me? How many times can I ignore the spirit of the chosen one is within me? It's like I know it, but can't see the day that he picked me. How many times can I cry out, Lord, permit me? How can I be about $1 when I'm saving the pennies? How can I really think that I could ever live to my 20s when even all around I watch my OG kill his kidneys? He say he all fucked up. His son like me selling dope. His first daughter fuck selling pussy in your throat. He not even mad at him. They living all that they know. His ex-wife living in spirit, she overdosed. His new wife he hated, we laughing, she do the most. I say I see everything that's around me changing. Lost in my thoughts, so my mind be racing, thinking that these rap niggas gotta be faking. How can I get this deal? I gotta make it. He tell me slow down, young nigga, you need patience. You the type to ruin your blessing cause you was racing. The Lord give you hope, the Lord give you frustrations. You the type to make the wrong turn to destination. You keep fucking around with niggas of temptation. You the type to end up on a permy vacation. The dead, just a young nigga with a gift who couldn't reap the benefits cause you was out here in the six bullshitting. It made your old mama heart cry for you. Don't die for no city that won't die for you. Yeah.
The resounding message of this verse is to slow down. In wanting to feed temptation, many mistakes and, in his own words, wrong turns were made, making it evident that it's the same wrong turns that end up killing kids his age and sometimes far younger, in general, but more specifically in the city of Atlanta. Kids realizing potential, whether it's rap in this case, or for others, whatever it is that can get them out of bad circumstance, have to stay focused on their mission, or otherwise end up another statistic for a city that won't die for them. These lessons learned along the way at a young age crafted him as he is today, and introspecting this portion of his life is possibly more cathartic than we even know, and he continues to do so on the next track. Money Can't Ease Your Pain continues to be a detailed story of poverty striking his childhood, and being aware enough to know it wasn't in his best interest to complain about it, as he knew his mom's was doing everything she possibly could to keep him living a good life. It's in the second verse that Suave goes on to divulge information regarding his biological mother, being adopted, his father, and a number of other things that are the foundation for this entire record.
Had me at 13 and a half. Never got a phone call from her, never got a text message, no email, not no telegraph. She was 5 years younger than my no good dad. I was adopted as a baby, didn't take too long. My mama never looked at me like I was no different. A couple miscarriages happened, but it's like she played along. And for my pops, it was like he got to right his wrongs. But it didn't last, and it's the 90s, so like every time a nigga fall out with his bitch, even if he got a kid, yeah, my nigga get to dipping fast. So if I see him, gotta beat his ass, my unforgiving ass. So it's just me and my mom's moving around. Soon as we getting settled in, skip town, I'm not even mad at her. Really thinking maybe the man I am now taught me how to stand down. Only see my pops like every 3 years. Looking in the mirror as a kid like, is it my fault this man don't wanna be here? Realizing as I got older, niggas just niggas. So if he died today, I probably couldn't shed 3 tears. In this life I got 3 fears. Dying way too young, not making it with rap, and ending up the same nigga he is.
This portion requires little to no analyzation, being his story beats here are so clear and pointed. With the sad story of how he came to be, to embracing his mom for treating him as if he was her birth child, to writing off his dad just as he did him. Simply put, trauma is bountiful. But in the face of trauma, Suave finds the silver lining in knowing all of these obstacles in his life have shaped him into the man he is today. A silver lining that many faced with similar circumstance wouldn't even be able to find, which is only a testament to his strength. I commend his ability to articulate these traumas in this verse, as this much vulnerability can be incredibly scary to express. A lot of the anger and or frustration that comes to a head from the various things placed in his life at a young age led him into a life of the streets as a teen. A lifestyle that he struggled to even want to have, as he was very aware of the fatal consequences present at all times. But it was nothing as long as he was getting some money and riding for his brothers. He opens up about the traumas he collected from this portion of his life in our next song. 4+5 is without a doubt the most detailed look at Suave's life in the streets. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good being money no longer is an issue weighing on his mental. The bad being the fatal risks that come with the lifestyle for not only his brothers, but himself. The ugly being the obvious traumas that stack up along the way, and a constant inner monologue with himself discussing if this is the life he truly wants to live.
My CD is burning, I know the devil is working.
And all of my niggas, we swimming in death. We envy them niggas that swimming in checks. I struggle at home and we swimming in debt. Call a ID when they call to collect. The sun in Atlanta do more than make sweat. Bodies on bodies, no swimming ain't wet. Got trauma inside me, I'll never forget. Conflicted, I feel like I shouldn't be doing the things I be doing. My purpose is bigger than all this shit, really, so quick to forget. Who am I really? Am I the nigga I think I am? Am I the nigga I wanna be? A gangster, a threat to economy. Opposer, a try harder wanna be. At one moment ready to kill a man. Catch a rapper, he hop out a sprinter van. And nothing worse than a young black male growing up like he don't give a damn. Or am I the nigga that grew up thinking that I had the chosen one in him? Lord forgive him. Lord forgive him.
Cause he gon' ride with his partner, nigga. On my mama, nigga. Need them commas, nigga.
The life that overwhelmingly provides and overwhelmingly takes. Lyrics like bodies on bodies, no swimming, no wet, traumas inside me I'll never forget, tells the whole story of kids being subjected to endless amounts of violence and proceeding on to the next day, affected but never showing those effects on their face. It's immediately after bringing up being traumatized from what he's seen that he asks if these are things he should even be doing, and also asking if he's even who he says or thinks he is. A very honest conversation that very well might be the reason he's here today to tell the stories he's presented on this record. Almeth's Son is an extreme highlight in the young career of Suave, a highlight that should be noted as one of the more intimate, vulnerable, honest, and hard-hitting hip-hop albums in a good bit. An album that allowed me to hear a story much similar to my own and having the overwhelming feeling as a kid that you had to grow up overnight. And an album that personally got me through one of the toughest losses in my life. And that alone solidifies Elmethus Son as one of my favorite projects from 2022, and further solidifies Suave as one of the emerging greats in the game.